Hi everyone, I'm standing here to explain to you about one of Indonesian neighboring countries, that is Malaysia. Before that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is M.Ed TESOL from class 6D. Okay, then I will divide my explanation into several parts. I will explain about the country of Malaysia in general. The second is the unique things and the culture that exist in Malaysia. And the last is things that should not be done in Malaysia. Okay, first we need to know that Malaysia is divided into two regions, namely West Malaysia, or commonly called the Peninsula or Semenanjung, which borders Thailand and Singapore, and the 10th Malaysia, which borders the country of Brunei and the territory of Indonesia. Also, East Malaysia is less developed than Peninsular Malaysia. East Malaysia has more natural resources such as petroleum and natural gas. West Malaysia or Peninsular Malaysia are 11 states that make up the Federation of Malaysia. Peninsular Malaysia currently consists of 11 states and 2 federal territories. The states are Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, Johor, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, Selangor, Perak, Kedah, Penang, Perlis, as well as Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur. East Malaysia is a term for 2 states and 1 federal territory in Malaysia located on the island of Kalimantan, namely Sabah, Sarawak, and Labuan. East Malaysia borders Brunei and Indonesia. East Malaysia is located on the east side of Peninsular Malaysia across the South China Sea. All states in Peninsular Malaysia are headed by a sultan or king except the federal territory Melaka and Penang. Malaysia has a parliamentary system of government. This system of government is based on the British Westminster model. Malaysia is ruled by a king who is Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Yang di-Pertuan Agong is a constitutional king who is elected to serve for 5 years. Yang di-Pertuan Agong and Ratu are elected by the hereditary rulers of the 9 sultanates in Malaysia, or better known as the Conference of Rulers. The government system is led by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister of Malaysia is the head of government in Malaysia. The Prime Minister heads the executive branch of the federal government. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong appoints a member of parliament who, in his opinion, is like to command the confidence of a majority of parliamentarians. The Prime Minister, usually the party leader winning the most seats in the general election. Further, in Malaysia, there is the title of Datuk. In Malaysia, Datuk or Dato is an honorary title conferred by the Sultan or Raja Yang di-Pertuan Agong. This title is equivalent to the title Sir in England. This title can also be given not only to men but also to women, and is often added to other titles such as Sri, thus becoming Datuk Sri. And the title shift is the use of the title of Mayor of Dato in Malaysia is no longer given to the Malays only original, but also can be given to other ethnic groups such as ethnic Chinese, Indian, or other. In Malaysia, the majority of the population group derived from the Malay race, Chinese, and the Indian race. Ada 3 kelompok masyarakat adat yang tinggal di wilayah Malaysia, yaitu orang asli di Semenanjung, Managese di Sarawak, dan orang Humus di Sabah. Dilansir dari portal resmi pemerintah Malaysia, masing-masing penduduk asli ini berasal dari berbagai suku, yaitu orang asli di Semenanjung ada 3 kelompok etnis besar, yaitu Negrito, Senoi, dan Proto Melayu. Orang Penang di Sarawak terdiri dari 27 kelompok etnis, dan kelompok etnis utama adalah Iban. Sedangkan Rumus di Sabah memiliki 32 suku, dan kelompok suku utamanya adalah Kadazan Duzun. Seperti disebutkan di atas, mayoritas orang Malaysia berasal dari 3 suku bangsa, yaitu ras Bumi Putra, Cina, dan India. Bumi Putra atau ras Melayu, mayoritas penduduk Malaysia berasal dari kelompok ras Melayu. Jumlah penduduknya sekitar 61,8% dari total penduduk Malaysia. Penduduk ini menggunakan bahasa Melayu sebagai bahasa sehari-hari dan menjalankan tradisi Melayu. Umumnya, penduduk etnis Melayu memeluk agama Islam. There are many unique people in Malaysia. According to the source I got, the first is there is a saying in Malaysia which reads Malaysia time, which means when events and ceremonies start that it's normal, because most Malaysians don't see times as a commodity, and as a result they are very slow to meeting and appointments, which can interfere with an activity another resident. Furthermore, in Malaysia, each country has its own flag. The country in Malaysia means the states in Malaysia, which are 13 countries. It is Johor, Kedah, Kelantan, Malacca, Negeri Sembilan, Penang, Perak, Perlis, Pulau Pinang, Selangor, Terengganu, Sarawak, and Sabah. Malaysia, there are 3 main languages commonly used by the people there, namely Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil. Because we grow up in friendship with people from various races, namely Malay, Chinese, and Indian race, so we assimilate with other cultures in our country. Most of the Malaysians are fluent in several languages and often mix them. We use it in conveying the message. For example, where do you want to go? We can use Manglish, Malaysia English, to become "you orang nak ke mana?"
Please don't interrupt me. Don't potong steam can ah.
I'm broke. Pokai liao.
You're really good at this. Terror lah.
This is amazing. Wow, this one damn nice way.
While public toilets abound in most locations across Malaysia, finding toilet paper in these toilets is a bonus. You notice, mostly outside the public toilet, there will be aunt or uncle selling small packets of tissue paper for 50 cents or 1 ringgit. There is something unique in Malaysia, which is slightly different from Indonesia. In Malaysia, motorbikes can enter on the toll road and without paying charges are free. This happens because the price of cars in Malaysia are more affordable, so only a few use motorbikes. And also in Malaysia, when we fill up your fuel, we have to do it yourself and buy at the mini market in gas station. This is different from Indonesia, which has official at gas station to serve customers. In terms of the Malaysian language, there are things that need to be considered. For example, not just anyone can be called as Aka. The name Aka is only for women, and Abang is for men. For older people, it is called Uncle for men and Makcik for girl.
Dah, jom Main.
Aku tak boleh ikut. Kena tolong abang.
Tata Mai. Jumpa nanti.
Korang pun kena tolong akak.
In terms of maintaining respectability, Malaysians' communication style is usually polite and quite soft. Orang Malaysia tidak selalu memberikan jawaban langsung untuk pertanyaan tertentu agar tidak menyinggung siapapun. Ini mungkin membuat frustasi bagi orang asing yang terbiasa dengan gaya komunikasi yang lebih tegas dan langsung. Kami menyarankan agar orang asing di lingkungan perusahaan perlu belajar melatih kesabaran sebaik mungkin saat berhadapan dengan rekan kerja dari Malaysia. Showing respect for others is an important aspect of everyday life in Malaysia. Therefore, it is very important to greet others in a kind and polite manner. A handshake is the standard greeting in Malaysia that is usually done by men. Muslim women usually do not feel comfortable shaking hands or making physical contact in public with men who are not part of their family. So when greeting a woman, it is best to let her be the first to say hello. If he doesn't want to shake hands, nodding his head and smiling is sufficient as a polite greeting. Direct eye contact is also usually avoided by Malaysians. They usually lower their ears when greeting others as a sign of respect. When visiting a religious place, you should dress modestly, because if you don't, you will be given a warning from the guard to dress modestly. In Malaysia, you have to be careful and maintain your attitude and behavior, because in Malaysia there is a caning law if you violate an existing Islamic law in Malaysia. You can be subject to punishment and caning. I'm sorry for the bad pronunciation and the annoying background noise.